This week's episode is sponsored by Current Jerker Designs. When you're a promoter of any kind, one main obstacle you face is, how do I get more attention for my business? With Current Jerker Designs, you get over 10 years of experience with their creative marketing services. Reach out to Derek Sharp at currentjerkerdesigns.com. Again, that's currentjerkerdesigns.com, or you can email Derek directly to derek at currentjerkerdesigns.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Twos in the Face Wrestling Podcast. On today's episode, it's a good old-fashioned snack size recap. Chris, what's up, man?
What's up? We went to a wrestling show. We did.
We were there. Proof. Is your name is just Ramiro now, right? That's your name.
That's my name now.
That's your name on the graphic if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, it just says Ramiro. So I'll just call you that, I guess, from now on. But yeah, we went to a wrestling show, man. First off, how have you recovered from it? I think I'm still kind of I don't know. I wasn't sick. I tested negative for COVID, but my allergies have been just destroying me. So I don't know if that's just from going outside or not.
Well, I mean, I think it's so. First of all, I think it's now normal to test often, right? Like we've gotten definitely too comfortable in a way. I mean, there's been festivals. There's a first festival for everything to begin with. There was the Mole Fest. There was Sueños this weekend. There's some. I'm sure there's like a couple weeks ago there was some Michelada Fest and Mimosa Fest and everything. So, you know, it's pretty cool to kind of get back to normal, but obviously keeping in mind, you know, the safety of others. Like you texted me the next day and you were like, you know, I took a test just to be safe. And I have been doing the same as well. So I'm good, but yeah, allergies are definitely, you know, kicking my ass. Like I wake up every morning and I got to take my Benadryl, which I hate. Well, it's not Benadryl, it's some other brand because Benadryl makes me super sleepy. So I cannot, you know, function.
Your store brand allergy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's whatever knockoff Walgreens.
Sure, that stuff works, man. Buy that stuff; it works.
As long as you know that the itchiness and because sometimes I'll be here typing, you know, working and just crying for no reason. My eyes just get so watery.
You're just so sad.
You're
so sad you have to do the work.
Right. Carla will come by and bring me a sandwich or something. She's like, "Are you okay?"
You're just crying into your
I'm just like, yeah, I'm just crying.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I don't want to sound insensitive, right? But like everyone's vaccinated now and stuff, and this isn't gonna be, we're not gonna get on a pedestal for anything. But yeah, like there's a lot of at-home tests that are readily available now. Just grab a few. If you feel funny, just pop one. And I think it's just going to be part of the process now. If I feel off, maybe and I know I'm going to see people, maybe I'll just pop one. But other than that, I don't think anyone's too terribly worried about it as long as you're vaccinated and stuff. So, but it was just really cool. It was good to go see a show again, obviously. But I've just been out of it so far after that show. So we're gonna deliver that. We're gonna power through. We're gonna deliver a recap of FU4 quarters.
That was Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah, the venue, Thornton Distillery, insane venue. Just insane.
I really love the venue. I mean, it's great that they have wrestling. You know, like
yeah.
And that's what brought me there. But shit, I mean, for me, it's about a 15-20 minute drive. So it's like I would definitely like go there just to chill. You know, sometimes like it's a nice place.
It might not, when you're watching on IWTV, it might not look. It kind of just may look like an open room to you.
I haven't seen any footage. Have you?
I've seen some footage online, but I haven't I don't know how far the camera pans, you know. But there is like a bar area in that same room, but that's just like 1/12 of what this place is. Maybe like they have. It's kind of built on a hill. So you can kind of walk down and when you're walking down, you're kind of walking down the hill almost to like another level with more stuff. And then there's even a lower cellar basement that apparently has history to it and tunnels lead into the quarry. And like this was Al Capone's at one point. And it's just like, you could get lost in that place, I feel like.
Hey, with that whiskey, you can get lost in any floor.
Yeah, so we had some old fashions, but you had some of that It was like an almond whiskey or something like that.
It was like a peach almond whiskey of some sort.
It was tasty.
It was good, and it was pretty smooth. So that's why I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like it's a place that I would, just go and kind of really do a test of their stuff. So yeah, I'm really glad that I got to go. I mean, I think this is their third show for Freelance Underground, that they've run a show there. And finally I was able to make it out there. Also, thanks to you drove. So
well, you drive me all over the place. I had access to a car. I have access to multiple cars right now. It's a long story, but we're at car sitting for Margaret's mom, who's in Greece right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I had just gotten back from Mexico as well. I think that's me. I always get sick on return trips, so that's probably why I'm like not feeling great. But yeah, I was happy to return the favor for you.
Dude, and you were so nice that so one of the things at the distillery is that they closed the food, the what do they call the kitchen, not the bar, the kitchen. They closed it at whatever time. But everybody kept talking about how good their food was. So that's something we definitely got to try next time. But on our way home, McDonald's was also closing down. But you were so nice to the guy and the other side of the speaker. They're like, "Look, man, I'm gonna hook you up. What do you want?"
I just didn't react. I didn't react with violence immediately because we pulled up to the drive-through. And there was a person in front of us who was like screaming at the person on the other side, or the person taking orders through the speaker box. And then we're like, what the hell is going on? So that person drove away, the person that was screaming. We drove up and they're like, yeah, we're actually closing the kitchen. And like our reaction was like, like, come on, like more joking.
Yeah.
And they cooked us 2 cheeseburgers and 2 fries. They had to turn the grill back on. That's what you get, a little bit of like nicety goes a long way.
They hooked it up, so that was pretty cool. So I walk into the house with like half a cheeseburger in my hand, and Carla's still awake, and she's like, "Oh, so you have food already?" I was like, "Well, I mean, it is almost 12:30." Like,
well, when I picked up Margaret, I was like, I had the McDonald's bag, and I was like, she always gets mad if I don't like get her something, or at least ask to get her something. And I was like, Margaret, please, like, I promise this is all we could get. Like, they only made this for us. Like, and she was like, she didn't care, but I was just like, I would have got you something if I could. I was like on the defensive.
Yeah, man, but it was a fun day. I mean, and again, like, I think one of the conversations on our way home was, we try to make it out to whatever shows we can, and we love supporting Freelance Underground, AAW, Warrior, all of these promotions that we've kind of interacted over the years. And things definitely have changed for both of us, and it's like we try to make it to whichever show we can. And the cool thing that I kind of noticed is like I still enjoy going to these shows, like,
yeah,
maybe a little bit of that absence like also allowed me to not take for granted that we get all this cool wrestling in Chicago.
It makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely.
If you don't have it for a little bit, you start to miss it, and then
and you go there, in one way or another, we still follow the storylines, right? So the payoffs and the twists and turns that go along with that, like, and we'll definitely talk about twists and turns here.
This show is appropriately themed. Yeah, I mean, James the him as the owner, promoter, etc., half owner, promoter, etc. But now he got himself a little bit involved. And I know James managed at Galley. I know he has a backyard wrestling career, which we won't get into, but I know hashtag FU James. Does that have multiple meetings? Maybe. But he inserted himself into Matt Knicks' side as this match went on, but now he's like fully involved. And yeah, some crazy things happens, which we'll get into. But the show is named after, I guess, a quote from Al Capone that James mentioned in a promo leading up to the show, where it's if you have too many friends, right? They start to lessen. Like maybe all of them aren't really your friends, or all of them aren't really as close as you need them to be. So you'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You'd rather have those 4 or maybe even one other really close friend that you can rely on, instead of just kind of being sort of friends with everyone. Was kind of, I think, was what why the show was named that.
And I mean, let's run through the results, like we would normally do, and then we can just talk about a few matches that caught our attention, some of the new faces that we actually got to see.
Right.
So we'll kick things off by again, and this show is available in IWTV. Is that correct?
It should be, yeah.
Okay, well, no,
I believe it is, unless I would say it is, unless something changed, but it absolutely, I'm very confident it's on IWTV.
Great. So make sure you go check that out. I mean, it's definitely worth your membership. The show started off with a 3-way. JJ Garrett defeating Alfonso Gonzalez and Megabyte Ronnie, which to me, and I know I said we're going to go through the results, but Megabyte Ronnie, he was, just as he walked out, he looked impressive. He looked pretty big compared to,
Did you like his hairy chest?
I was definitely paying a close attention to his hairy chest and back.
Are you a hairy chest? Are you a hairy chest and back guy?
I mean,
how's your situation?
Do we need to? No, we don't want to. We might get censored. No, but
we want the videos to stay on YouTube. So
of course. No, I'm down with the hairy chest. But the way the light was hitting the guy, like it made him look extra hairy, I think. And the whole time I was wondering,
before he sprayed some water in there to make it glisten.
I was wondering, is he gonna wrestle with a fanny pack the whole time?
But what was in the fanny pack, Chris?
2 hot dogs, 2 crumbled up hot dogs in there.
At least. just imagine, like, well, the buns were shattered. I mean, if you're
you would think so, right?
If you're like bumping around, those buns are probably being destroyed, right? Like, I don't know how the buns hold up in there, but he had a couple glizzies in his knapsack. Had a couple wieners.
And again, JJ Garrett, I think it's a Freelance Underground favorite for sure. And introducing Alfonso Gonzalez to the mix, which of course he's nonsense. I think it worked out for a great match here.
Yeah, there was some wieners being thrown around. There was a lot of antics in this one. Mm-hmm. It was like a triple threat, but it was also like there was some humor in it to kind of.
And to mention, like I did say that Megabyte Ronnie was pretty tall. The air ducts, like, definitely like made the height that you could reach in that building pretty low.
I don't think Ray Phoenix would survive in this ring. He would just knock himself out unconscious if he was.
Yeah, there were a couple instances throughout the night where it's like, oh, that was pretty close. Is he going to clear it? But I mean, everybody did their job safely. But it was definitely one of those factors that you had to be aware of.
Yeah,
during the match.
Yeah, there were some frog splashes going on, but you don't need to. There's no flipping. You don't need to get up that high, with your frogginess. So there was like some second rope stuff going. Second rope is very your friend in this venue.
Yeah. Then so that match got followed up by Heather Monroe defeating Blair Onyx.
Yeah, can I say that Heather Monroe is a absolute asset to this roster? Like, it's great because she moved here. It's almost like she's just like been like an extra awesome bonus, Yeah. It's like when you're playing like a Madden franchise and you have like a really good team already and you're like, oh wait, I can sign this free agent and you make my team even better. It's like, yeah, let's insert someone who was getting booked out west right into the Midwest scene. And she's just really good. She's really convincing in everything she does. I think that with a little bit of these shows, sometimes certain shows, when people are trying to play in the ring and do a little humor, like sometimes everything might not hit, like all your jokes might not hit and stuff. And sometimes there's kind of that awkward silence, but you have to be convincing in like what you say and like your jokes and stuff. and like Heather Monroe was like she kept saying the word squish to Blair Onyx the Spider and stuff, and she was just like committed to the gimmick the whole match. She just kept like doing stuff
She's
like that.
She's comfortable with her character and the character she was going to play during that match, and definitely playing off of the spider thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she stuck with it. You got to like, she stuck with it the whole match. And like, there was, I think like as the match progressed and as the show progressed, the crowd like loosened up a little bit and they start laughing at a little more things. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's kind of funny. But even though like maybe the first time she said it, it was like silent, if that makes sense. So like, you just kind of like stuck and was committed to it. And like I said, like, I don't know if I'm not going to say the roster didn't need her, but like now that she's here, it's just like you like injected like almost like a mini steroid into this roster. And it's just, especially the women's division, not that Freelance Underground doesn't do mixed gender. They do, but it's just like, this is like a really nice bonus that we are really happy to have, I think.
For sure. And that's a perfect segue into the next match, which was a intergender match. Alice Crawley defeating GPA. So seeing GPA back in action,
at
least for us. I mean, it had been a while that I hadn't seen him, So definitely hearing his music and his cockiness and then him getting beat up was great.
This is a big win for. I thought GPA was gonna. I guess I'm just like, it's GPA. GPA usually finds a way to win. Really big win for Alice Crawley here. She's kind of got the punk rock look, which I think is kind of missing. From that roster, really, there isn't too heavy-ish punk rock look, and I feel like Freelance and Freelance Underground have that punk rockish flair, especially at Logan.
For sure.
It feels like punk rock hip to me, hipsterish. And I think she has that style and what goes toe to toe. I mean, GPA can make GPA is a huge part. I'm not taking anything away from Alice Crawley. GPA though is just a huge part of these intergender matches because he works really well with anyone, male or female. So I did not expect him to go down, but hey, man, I guess you can't sneak your way out of can't sneak a victory every time. So
for sure. That was followed up by the tag team title match, the Brothers of Construction, going up against the Bang Bros.
Yeah. What do you think about this one, man? What do you think about this one, man?
I mean, definitely. I don't know, right? Because I came in like not digging the clowns. Like it's just. I guess I was just as a fan is like, oh, I want the Bang Bros to take these titles or whatnot. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it because there's always a lot of that like clowny stuff. But at the end of the match, it's like, man, you know what? It was good. Like part of it was like, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of too much of that, the clowning around stuff. But I'm like, at the end of the day, they know how to pull it off and they definitely involve the crowd and teasing the crowd and stuff like that. So
I think mixed feelings is a great way to put it. Like, first of all, like Ruffo is just like, we were talking to him after. He's just a super, super cool dude. We knew he was before we even talked to him. But I'm very mixed on them. I'm very, and like I said, this is a positive cast, right? We could keep things positive. I'm very mixed. Like when they got into the ring and the Bang Bros came out with a fire and fury, I was like, I wouldn't mind if the Bang Bros just beat them like 2 minutes in. I don't know why. Like, there's a part of me, we love the Bang Bros, but I think there's a part of me that wouldn't mind if these clowns got their, kayfabe speaking, wouldn't mind if these clowns got their ass kicked, like, and almost like squashed 2 minutes in. Just because, like, I don't know. I'm very mixed on them. Like, they're really good at their gimmick. But I wouldn't not mind seeing another really hot tag team like beat them. Is that fair?
That is fair to say.
Okay, so they're really good at what they do, but I'm almost over their shtick a little bit. Like I'm kind of getting over their shtick.
We'll definitely talk about Pick and Pop, right? Who picked up a huge win.
If those are the two teams to clash next, I know which side I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but before we even talk about pick and pop, there was the independent title match, Storm Grayson against Wes Barkley, and that was a win that was picked up by Storm Grayson, so he's still the champ. Still convincing.
There was how about Drizzle?
Drizzle.
So there was a person with a mask on. Once again, totally okay if you want to wear a mask. I'm not hating
COVID
on that.
mask, not a luchador mask, because then the bartender was wearing a
bartender was wearing a Mil Mascaras mask. By the way, when I was in Elo Mujeres in Mexico, I was able to recognize. Did you see that snap I sent you with the luchador mask?
Yeah.
Did you know anyone else in that row? There was like 9 of them.
Maybe I did, and I started listening, but I'm like, well, then I gotta tell you which color is which one. So it was like Fisherman was there. Okay. He's the one with like green and yellow.
Okay, I know. Okay, I remember seeing him.
There was I just remember there were others, but I'm like, oh wait, La Parca's there. You'll recognize La Parca.
Oh, La Parca was like there was like a stuffed La Parca. I was at this bar for people who are listening or like, what the fuck is going on? I was at this bar in Mexico, and there was these 9 lucha heads with mask on, and then there was a La Parca doll. But I was like, oh, I know 3 of those heads. I knew like obviously Blue Demon, Mil Mascaras, and El Santo. That's like I think any white dude who likes wrestling can probably pick out those 3. But then I was like wondering who the rest of the guys were. So I had to send you that Snapchat. But
yeah, one
day maybe you'll help me fill them in. What were we talking about again?
So you brought up Drizzle.
So there was this. He was like he might have been a trainee or he was just kind of helping, but he had a COVID mask on, like a face mask. And at first, when we first saw him, we thought he was Storm because he had like the same haircut and like the same facial complexion. But then so we waved to him, and then we realized, oh shit, that's not Storm. So then later on, I think he like took a bump too.
Well, that was like towards the main event of the Kelvin match.
So if he's not Storm, but he's like a mini Storm, we were calling him Drizzle.
Right. Yeah, because we didn't know who he was, but I'm like, that's just Storm's little brother. I don't know.
like steady showers or light showers or drizzle or drizzle, I think works, but like not a storm, some kind of rainfall.
Right. But again, so looking at the timestamps of these matches, dude, I mean, this was the longest match so far in the card up at this point with 10 minutes, 55 seconds.
Yeah, FEU independent champions, Storm Grayson. I mean, if that's your intercontinental title, that's your workhorse title.
Your workhorse, right? Yeah.
And he is that. He's still looking great. Every time I see him, he's just got that presence about him. So.
Right, and now we go into pick and pop, right? Defeating the Philip Marino Experience.
Dude, pick him. I talked to Darius after. I was like, I knew that they were comical. I knew they were funny because when we had them on the podcast, it was like a very funny episode. But they seem so comfortable in the ring, and they got funnier. They are like hilarious now on the ring.
They're still heels, but they're funny.
They're funny,
right? And I think that's when you get to that point, it's like, okay, crowd is accepting you a little bit more. Now they know who you are. You've established yourself. Right. You can do something else, and you're comfortable with, with this team, right? Because initially it's not like they've been teaming forever. So they're comfortable with each other, and they know how to play well off of each other. So yeah, I definitely saw. And again, I don't know if I was just because I listened to when you were on solo with them, and I think I messaged you mid episode. Is like it was a different light that I got to see them under. Yeah. So now I was like, I don't know if I need to remove that lens and look at them differently, but I'm like, that's perfectly fine. Like if they're funny, they're heels, they're scrappy and still pulling out the shanks, and
yeah, it's still like within their stuff. Gimmick.
Yeah,
it's still within their gimmick of like Darius has the basketball-ish gimmick, and like Coda is like the convict gimmick, and Coda is like the younger brother to Darius's older. Mm-hmm. So they still play within that, but they make it, and they're still heels, but they turned up the comedy of it. it's like a really nice mix, and like they're so comfortable now. So it's like effortless for them sometimes.
And PME is also such a fun team.
Yeah.
Right?
Give credit to them too, because you need PME to be.
Yeah.
They were like playing off of PME's outlandish stuff, so like that was very vital to this match as well. But I'm just like so impressed with Pick and Pop's growth, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So then this takes us into, the submission or surrender match, which I honestly thought this was going to be the main event, but it wasn't. It was Project Monix. I couldn't even say his name.
Don't say it. You need to say it.
Against Mad Knicks. Mad Knicks having James in his corner and Monix having Chico in his corner, right? And they're there as their cornermen to throw in the towel to surrender or submit.
That's the only way that you can win this match is if your towel men, your partner, your manager throws in the towel for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where do you want to start with this, man? I mean, I feel like we could do a whole episode just on this, but I think we'll try to keep it summarized.
So right, let's just summarize a little bit, right? Monix doing his big retirement. Everybody's invested. Everybody's supporting Monix, for riding off into the sunset, and he does not. Right at the end of the show, a few months ago,
it was a bit ago, probably.
It was a bit ago,
on it, but time flies. I get what you mean. Recently,
right? So he gets handed as a recognition award of whatever, the old original FU championship. But he uses that and he hits not just Mad Knicks, but, Andy Two Juice. And then he cuts a promo saying that he's not going anywhere. He's here to stay. And pretty much F you all for believing that I was retiring.
Yeah. I need to go get my charger really quick.
Okay. All right.
My computer's dying. Hold on.
All right. I'll keep talking here. So he does that. And then that leads into a few matches against Matt Knicks, and then that eventually leads into this match, the submission or surrender, and obviously James gets involved because, whoa, Charlie, don't take off your shirt now. We said we're gonna keep this. Okay, I was just saying that please don't take off your shirt. We're gonna keep this available for YouTube.
No. I don't have a hairy chest.
So yeah, I was just saying that. James is involved now, and so is Chico, as Monix's buddy. Chico is in his corner, and of course, it's public that James is in charge of Freelance Underground, and he has taken over Freelance Wrestling. So
correct.
He comes out with a purple poppy shirt. Mad Knicks, and then. The funny part is that Chico comes out dressed as James Russo, with the suspenders, the maroon dress shirt, glasses, all the whole 9 yards. And I definitely cracked up when I saw Chico coming out as James Russo as the as in Monix's corner. So that was the quick summary of where we are at this point.
Yeah. And Monix, so while the match was going on, it was brutality basically from start to finish. I mean, this has been a feud that's been going on for 5 months, maybe probably longer than that. Whenever it kind of started when Monix turned, and you need to end up. I think a feud this big can only be ended in such a big fashion. And there was a lot of almost kind of shoot comments, slightly shoot, kind of pulling back the curtain comments that were happening as this match was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Monix he's done in his mind, he is completely above any sort of professional courtesy in the wrestling business anymore. So Mad Knicks is a good human being. He is a professional, nice, person. Maybe in wrestling that doesn't get you exactly where you want to go, So I think Monix was trying to be the opposite of that. He's like, I am what you want to be. That's what he said to Knicks. Monix just doesn't give a fuck anymore, and he thinks he's ascended to another level and thinks he's a god. So there was some like bleeding going on. There was kendo sticks. There was people being handcuffed, things like that. But Monix was taunting Knicks a lot during this match. It was like he was handcuffed and getting his shit kicked in, but also taunting Knicks as it was happening and saying stuff that would resonate maybe outside of a ring.
Yeah.
So that's where I called it a masterpiece. Maybe I shouldn't have tweeted that from our account, but I loved every second of this. And that
purple handcuffs towards the end.
Purple handcuffs. The details. I honestly don't even want to give away the ending if you haven't seen it. Like, I think it's that good.
Fair.
I think it's that good.
You deserve to watch it. Yeah.
And
without knowing the ending. There's
many layers to it. Let's just say that, we talked to James after. He talked about the rule of two. There's a master and there's an apprentice. I guess I'll leave it at that, but Knicks wanted to do things a certain way, the right way. Monix has thrown all that. Since Monix has turned his back basically on that company, he just doesn't give a fuck about anything anymore, basically, except himself. So Monix wanted to win the match a certain way, and Knicks wanted to win the match a certain way. And some people disagreed with the way that Knicks wanted to end it. And both credit to both for just putting themselves through hell. But I almost don't even want to give away the ending because I think there's a promo after too, and it explains it really well.
Right. For sure. Check out the show. Definitely recommend it. Recommend the show in its entirety, but definitely this is a match that you want to go back and watch. And all I gotta say is that, whatever happens next month, Chico deserves a match. Chico needs to show his talents.
Dude, he did. He was like that's I don't know how much I'm gonna let you finish. No, I don't know. Please hold that thought. I don't know how much IWTV picked up, but I was watching as much as was going on in the ring as I was watching outside of the ring. But the interactions between Chico and James were as good and entertaining. It was a different level because like brutality was happening in the ring, but it was just like so entertaining to watch Chico. You could just watch Chico that whole match and be entertained. Like he's earned himself something. I don't know what it is, but he's earned himself.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I don't know what's next, but he definitely like, in throughout the whole feud and the match and everything, like Chico definitely deserves something.
Yeah. I don't know where no, hashtag Viva La Chico. And this is not like we're Chico supporters too, but we'll also rib him on this podcast and like he'll rib us and stuff. But this is like 100% serious. Like he did a fucking great job. James, everyone in that match, all four of them. I messaged all four of them after, and I was just like, holy shit. I don't know what I just watched, but it was really good. So.
Well, to a surprise, this was not the main event because we had a heavyweight title match, the FU heavyweight title on the line. The champion Calvin Tankman going up against Joshua Bishop. Now, it was a hard match to follow, the submission and surrender.
Correct.
And I think they knew that, and they definitely went all out. Brutal match we were talking about, and this will kind of lead into something we'll kind of leave you guys off with. But like, if we were talking about, matches paired up as food, as items in the buffet line, this was definitely, your heavy hitter, your, I don't know what kind of buffets you go to, but your plate in this one definitely had like a cheeseburger and a steak and maybe some bacon on the side. It was full of protein.
Meaty men slapping meat.
Exactly. This is when Drizzle got power slammed on the floor or something.
Drizzle got hurt. They went outside though. They
went outside.
They were like, how do we follow this submission surrender match that had months of story in it? And they're like, let's go fucking fight outside. And then the whole crowd followed. They're like, oh shit, let's go fight outside. So they tried all the shit to try to, and it was a good match as well, but they were pulling out the stops.
And this is where Tankman did the frog splash off of the second rope.
Yeah, not really solid frog, really solid frog splash by Calvin Tank. Second rope frog splash. I don't know if many big men do that. He should just, I don't know if that's like his signature, but he should continue to do that because it was great.
Yeah. And he picked up the win. You know, he's still the FU champion. So that kind of concluded the entire show. And again, it was a really, really good show. I mean, not just saying it because we were there, but also because we were there. And, you know, we got to experience some live wrestling. So why not? And, you know, again, you know, it all goes back to the performance that happens in the ring, but the storytelling and the follow through and the payoffs and all that stuff. Like it all kind of, and on top of that, just the venue was a cherry on top of it all, right? Like great venue, great place. I had a good time.
Yeah, we ask people all the time when we do buffet line episodes. We ask people all the time, "What do you love about wrestling?" That's like one of our first questions that we ask in the salad bar section. And if we were to answer that question, we would probably say the storytelling. And that match, the submission surrender, was full of it. It was chock full of storytelling. You almost didn't need to do move. Like there was points where you didn't even need to do moves. It was just Knicks and Monix yelling things at each other, and it was still great. So yeah, I was very pleased with our trip out to Thornton, Illinois.
For sure. Anything else, Charlie? Anything else you want to cover? I mean, that is for the recap itself. Like we went through pretty much every match of this show one by one.
It was we're only at the 37-minute mark. I don't think people are too bored yet. Hopefully, if you're listening to this and it hasn't been Saturday, June 4th yet, I think tylersdayoff.com is something we want to plug. But there is follow Freelance Underground on Twitter. Just type in their name, you'll find it. Underground without the vowels. There it is. If you're watching on YouTube, it's right on your screen right now. Chris is really good at that, and it was totally worth the trip, honestly, to Thornton Distillery. So I would recommend it.
Yep, and I think you did mention Tyler's Day Off. We're a proud sponsor of that show coming up. So coming soon, we are actually going to do some pairings of matches to actual wrestling buffet line food. So it will be pretty fun. Let us know what you think.
The gimmick. We're hard to the gimmick.
Exactly. Other than that, as far as Two Heels and a Face goes, you can always follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. You can check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com. And anything else, Charlie? Anything else that I'm missing?
No. Hashtag.
Oh, Freelance is home. Sure, Freelance is home.
Hashtag Viva La Chico.
Hashtag Viva La Chico for sure.
Absolutely. No, I guess we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Sounds good.
Peace.
Thanks.